SB and Sean breaking through the noise, serving real talk, the genuine choice. No pretense, no hidden schemes, just sports passion fueling dreams. From the field to the court, every play that's made, real takes over fake debates. Turn it up, hear the honest sound, unfiltered sports all year round. Discussions pure, no masquerade, real takes over fake debates. Turn it up. Over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates.
And we are live. SB Talk Sports, Sean, where real takes over fake debates. It is Monday. How you doing, Sean? What's going on, brother?
Doing good, SB. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to everyone out there.
Happy Monday to everybody. We got a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, we're in the midst of the NBA in-season tournament, which is pretty good so far. The San Antonio Spurs might be our only hope, Sean. Might be. Then we got trades that possibly could be involved, and a lot of people saying Giannis might be traded, but it's looking like the Bucks might be trying to add to Giannis. I don't know what assets they have. Then obviously we got to recap football this Sunday, and we got real taking over reactions. A lot of things to talk about football wise too. There's a lot of things to break down from this last week. We learned a lot, and a lot of dynamics have changed during Week 15. But let's go to the NBA first. Salute everybody in the chat. If you guys watching, make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe. So Tiff in the chat, Daniel Berry in the chat, Go James in the chat. What's going on? But yes, Sean, first things first, let's get it cracking. The Spurs is the only hope to stop OKC. OKC are what, 24-2 right now because of the loss they just took to the San Antonio Spurs. And what making me realize this is to beat OKC because they like 15 deep. To really beat them, you gotta have a freaking nature, or something on the court, and a stacked team. You need a stacked team with a freaking nature athlete. And the Spurs still almost lost that game. A lot of questionable calls during that game too, by the way. But am I crazy for saying the Spurs is I'm gonna say the Spurs in Denver. I don't see nobody else beating them. Spurs in Denver. But am I crazy for saying the Spurs is the only hope we got to stop OKC?
I think the Spurs, if they get the production they expect from their dynamic backcourt, and when I say dynamic backcourt, I'm talking Fox, I'm talking Vassell, I'm talking Castle, I'm talking Dylan Harper, along with a healthy and available Wemby, I think they could absolutely be a problem for OKC. One game, obviously, is not the end-all, be-all, but they do play a couple of games here next week on Christmas Day included. So
they play on Christmas.
Yeah, they play on Christmas Day. So, I think certainly there's going to be some opportunity there for the Spurs to, further show improve against OKC, that Christmas Day games in Oklahoma City. And then they play I believe that Tuesday in San Antonio, the 23rd in San Antonio.
Yeah, they play back-to-back, yep.
Back-to-back. So, if you want to, try to get some sort of mental edge or advantage, these are the games where you try to do it. But the playoffs is a different animal. That Oklahoma City team obviously is playoff-proven, playoff-tested. The Spurs team is not. So matching up in a series, in a 7-game series, may be a very different animal than what we see in the regular season. But that said, the Spurs have some serious talent, again, particularly in the backcourt. But I think it all comes down to, Wemby being, fully available for them when that time comes.
Yeah, because I think what makes OKC so dangerous, and I'm being real about it, is two things. One, because of the NBA rule about the 65 games, right? And what's the bonus you get when you make an all-team award? You get double the money. Or you get more. I'm not saying double the money. Double the money is extent. The owners don't want to pay double the money they already paying. But you get more. You get a bigger contract extension when you are all NBA or you get an MVP awards. But since the NBA has placed that rule, you got to play 65 games. Now you got guys like Chet Holmgren, J-Dub, who didn't play their 65. Now you get them on a cheaper contract than what you would have to pay them for them making an all-defensive team, all-NBA team. So that's part one. And then two, they got all the Clippers assets. So even if they say, hypothetically speaking, they say, let's just say they lost J-Dub. And then they go to this year's draft and replace J-Dub with one of the Boozer twins, Cam Boozer. That's ridiculous. They back where they started. But now it's even more ridiculous because you're not going to lose J-Dub. You got him on a nice contract. You paid everybody. And you still forget a top pick in the draft. It's just like it's never going to stop. That's what makes OKC seem so dangerous because I you know, Sean, and you heard me on this podcast before. I was very critical of Sam Presti. I have never said nothing bad about Sam Presti since then. I learned my lesson real quick. I said, you know what? I'm gonna let him cook because clearly I was trying to make a microwave steak and he cooking filet mignon because he cooking. And the team. The crazy part about it is the other guy you told me about. What's his name? I think he got like cancer right now, right? Don't he? Or he had a cancer scare.
Oh, Nikola Topic.
He ain't even play yet, and he's like an MVP over there in Europe. The best young player they say is Luka.
Right.
The Spurs gonna be our only hope. The Spurs they can't mess. They rebuild them. Only thing that's gonna help the Spurs, Sean, is like once Castle and Harper develop, and I think one of them probably have to stay come off the bench to be like the Manu Ginobili. It might be Harper.
Right.
But at least they got De'Aaron Fox as a trade asset because De'Aaron Fox. I don't see them staying together. Like I think they're gonna run with De'Aaron Fox like 2-3 more years, and then once those kids grow and evolve, I see De'Aaron Fox being a trade piece to add more talent to this team. That's the only way. He said, OKC got a lot of guys that can make some teams this season. OKC got a lot of people on that team that will start on a lot of your favorite team roster. Yeah, so that's the only thing. But next up on the list, too, though, Sean, I don't want to harp on it too long. Timberwolves want Kobe White. And as a Bulls fan, I'm happy for it. And the reason why I'm for it, and the Bulls need to get on it, but I doubt they do. Because we are the Chicago Bulls. We always wait till the last minute to do everything, or we don't trade nobody when we're supposed to trade them. It's because Kobe White contract is up this season. And no front office, we don't want to pay nobody. We did that with Josh Giddey this year. But Josh Giddey was a restricted free agent. With him being a free agent, we can still always bring him back. Kobe White's going to be an unrestricted free agent. And I guarantee you, once they try to lowball him, he's going to be like, I love Chicago. Peace out. I'm gone. So trade him now. Why you got some from? Why you could get some from him? Sean, who would I want from him? I need Rob Dillingham. I need Juan Burgundy. I forgot his name. This is like a rookie. He's like 6'9" big man. Him. And I'll probably take Terrence Shannon and like and some draft capital, and I'll be cool with that.
Yeah, you're not getting all that for Kobe White.
I think we could.
No, you're not.
Only because the Timberwolves are desperate right now.
Well, no, desperation makes fools of us all. The issue is because as you mentioned, Kobe White is an unrestricted free agent after this season. He's already told the Bulls that he was not interested in negotiating a contract extension. He wanted to get to the offseason. Any team he gets traded to is probably going to get the same message because there are going to be about 10 teams with salary cap space this offseason. So he wants to keep his options open. So for the Bulls at this point, if you got Rob Dillingham and a protected first-round pick from Minnesota back for Kobe White, I think that's a pretty good deal, given, again, if your intent is not to re-sign him or not to keep him long-term, you want to get something rather than let him walk out the door, obviously, for nothing. Now, here the other catch is the Bulls could potentially use him in a sign and trade this summer as well. So that will be, I think, the thing the Bulls will be thinking about before, obviously, trading Kobe White, to Minnesota or anywhere else this season.
Yeah. Hold on, wait. We got to pause this 1 second. Shout out Sports PSP in the chat. He sent the super chat. Super chat. We got to prioritize those. He said, should Philly trade AJ Brown?
No.
I agree with you. I say no. It's which we're gonna talk about the Eagles when we get to our football stuff. But I'm gonna just say this. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley is not the problem. The problem is who's calling the plays. Sean, you don't got TikTok, but I'm gonna say the video and send it to you. It's a dude who went viral. He is mad because he went viral because he said literally this is all the Eagles is. Saquon up the middle, Saquon up the middle, AJ Brown deep ball, turnover on downs, punt. Hey, Saquon up the middle, Saquon up the middle, AJ Brown deep ball, incomplete, punt the ball. And his sound has been going viral because literally that's all they do. Saquon up the middle, AJ Brown deep ball, or the tush push. And they can't even do the tush push right.
Right.
You got to fire your offensive coordinator. And if the coach don't want to get rid of offensive coordinator because that's his friend, he needs to be fired too. Everybody say the problem with the Eagles is they are too predictable. I'm sorry, Sean. Me and you not no football experts. Not at all. We do. If that's the case, we'd be head coaches. But you cannot tell me I cannot make a game plan when I got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, a good O-line, Jalen Hurts, who was mobile with his legs, and Saquon Barkley. Sean, you can't come up with nothing more creative than Saquon up the middle and the AJ Brown deep ball.
I consider myself a pretty decent football expert, but that said, if you've been in the coaching tree as long as Kevin Patullo has, you would think that offensively he could scheme something a little bit better. Obviously, yesterday was a good game for them, considering the opponent. But yeah, I mean, you would think that he could. And again, the only appreciable change the Eagles made from last season to this season was losing Kellen Moore to be the Saints head coach and replacing him with Kevin Patullo. And then obviously losing Mekhi Becton at right guard and Tyler Steen, who was on the team and been on the team for some time, stepping in and playing right guard. Right. That's it. So the personnel hasn't changed. It's, again, to your point, it's the play caller and it's who's ultimately, designing these game plans week in and week out. Now, I will say the last couple of weeks, apparently, Nick Sirianni has gotten more involved in the offensive game planning. Perhaps you saw some of that yesterday. We'll see if that continues these last 3 weeks of the season as they are, in a push, not just try to win the division, but also try to finish with as high a seed as possible in the NFC. So that remains to be seen. But, if I'm the Eagles, they understand the task at hand. They understand what they have to do. And I expect them to go out and, play these last few weeks of the season very well as they prepare to try to defend their championship.
Yeah, salute to Johnny in the chat too, by the way. But back to the Kobe White situation, I do think, honestly, Sean, what I really hope for if the Bulls do trade Kobe White early, I hope this is a gateway to get Vooch off our team. Vooch got to go, Sean. Vooch, if he's not scoring, he's useless. In the last game we just played, we benched him. We won. So that's one thing I hope for. But do I like Kobe White? Yes. But if he's worth getting traded, I think we need to have a direction. And honestly, this is a year in the draft where we actually own our draft pick. Where I actually hope we don't make the playoffs. I think we need to get the highest pick we can get in this draft. Next up on the NBA before we get into the NFL, the Bucks are looking to buy at the trade deadline, Sean. I don't know what they planning on buying. I don't know. You would think that Giannis would be traded, but yeah, so I don't think they're trading Giannis. I think they're trying to add something to Giannis. I don't know who they can add by trading Kyle Kuzma, but so what's your reaction to this?
Well, so think about this. So they have about $60 million in combined salaries when you talk about Kyle Kuzma, Bobby Portis, and Miles Turner. And also, they have their picks in 31 and 32. Yeah. There's a very good possibility they could be buyers. It's who's selling and who wants to be moved. The name that comes to mind immediately is Trae Young. But I don't know if that necessarily moves the needle in Milwaukee for them. Could they be, potentially in on Ja Morant? I don't think Memphis is necessarily pushing to trade Ja Morant, to be frank. Could it be LaMelo Ball? Again, I don't think Charlotte is pushing to trade LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball has come out and says he loves playing in Charlotte. He wants to be in Charlotte. So it's not even that your buyers, it's who's selling. And
nobody.
And
what they got.
I mean, well, again, I think it comes down to, again, are you looking at those 31 and 32 or 31 or 32 because they can't trade both? Those 31 or 32 first round pick and saying that's going to be a very valuable pick depending on what happens with Giannis long term. And even by 32, we got to probably think Giannis is probably either going to be towards the tail end or maybe even gone by that point just because of his age and things of that nature. So if you're Milwaukee, you're saying, hey, listen, we're trying to, appease Giannis. We're trying to build this thing around Giannis. We're trying to build a team that we think can contend around Giannis. But again, who's selling? And that's really what it comes down to, who's selling.
Yeah. I say nobody for what they have. And I don't think Trae Young moved the needle for me because we've seen this experiment already. How did him and Dame work out? Didn't work out very good. The perfect storm for Giannis was when they had the Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday effect, where you got a guy who can defend at point guard, who can run the point guard, but does not need the ball in his hands, and a Drew Holiday. And then you got a secondary guy who can score in the clutch in Chris Middleton. That's it. That's what Giannis needs. He needs defense and a point guard who don't need the ball in his hand and somebody who can make a shot in the clutch. If you don't have that, Giannis not going to be successful. You're not going to put a non-defending, a point guard who need the ball in his hands with Giannis and expect it to work. It's not going to work. Giannis wants the ball in his hands. So the perfect storm for him would probably been like Alonzo Ball. Maybe you could call Cleveland. Maybe you get Lonzo Ball because Lonzo Ball is cheap. That's realistic.
Yeah, but he doesn't move the needle. I mean, just being frank, he doesn't move the needle.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But I think Giannis should, and I said this already before, I don't think Giannis should be traded. I think he shouldn't ask for no trade. I think this era of media and fandom is making him force himself out of Milwaukee. He won a championship. He don't need to leave. He should be patient with Milwaukee, but I understand your career go back fast. Give them a year. I thought this year he would just come over and just go get an MVP or something and just dominate, but obviously he's disgruntled and don't want to play there. So
now you mentioned an interesting team, Cleveland. I think they're not going to make a rash move right now, but I think what happens with Darius Garland could Milwaukee potentially be in on Darius Garland. If I'm Cleveland, I'm not trading Darius Garland, and I'm not trading him in the division. So, but
going out west, trade Darius Garland.
I mean, I would consider trading him in the conference for the right deal, but I'm not trading him in the division. So, and I think, again, a Darius Garland with Giannis could be interesting because, again, he's an all-star. We know the issue with Darius Garland has been health and availability, because he's been in and out of the lineup after the toe surgery as they're trying to maintain that. But to me, that would be, I think, a more reasonable move. Again, you're not getting a franchise player, but you are getting an all-star caliber player when he's healthy. The question is, is he if and when he's healthy?
I don't know who they could get, but Cleveland need to. I've never been a fan of that backcourt of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. I just think they're too small defensively. I get why you added Lonzo Ball, but has Lonzo Ball been worth anything? Not really. But that's the only thing with me. Like I've never been a fan of their backcourt. He said Mark said he really needs to sit out a year and get that joint right, his toe right, possibly. But the East I think it's a 2-team race in the East. If I'm being honest with you, it's wide open. But the only teams I take legitly in the East right now is the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. Anybody else is 50-50 for me. And the Knicks if the Knicks don't make it to the NBA Finals this year, they will never make it no other year, Sean. This is the easiest they got it.
Yeah, and I think, and I say Detroit if they make a move, but I would say the Knicks. I think this is the Knicks year. Salute, Leanna. I would say this is the year for the Knicks to get to the NBA Finals. Excuse me.
Yeah. Now, if they don't do it this year, then it's cooked. Salute, Leanna. You are a Heat fan just like Sean. Ugh. Tough times we always has the LeBron era.
And we're not doing that.
I mean, I can't talk either. But
right. We were just in the conference finals 2 years ago. So, just saying.
We got lost Jimmy Butler, too.
Yeah, and we're in the NBA Finals as well. I'm just saying, somewhere the Bulls haven't seen. And,
all right. Hey, look, man, we still living off Jordan era. We still selling out tickets when we got Paul Zipster in the lineup. Yeah. He said the Celtics been holding it down without Tatum too. Yeah, I beat Jaylen, but we always told y'all Jaylen Brown was good. And that's another thing the media tried to do too. I'm glad you said this, like trying to separate them two. The media does that. Create these narratives. Oh man, you need to lead this organization. You a big fish in a small pond. No, stop listening to them. Or you and Jaylen Brown don't work together. And then when they separate, they'll be like, man, y'all should just stay together after the same they did with Shaq and Kobe. And the media is part of the reason why Shaq and Kobe didn't work out.
Well, the media didn't do that. Shaq and Kobe did that. Shaq and Kobe. I'm just, if we being real. So
to an extent, but I mean,
no, they did it. They did it. Yeah, they did it.
But they egged it on when they asked, "Hey, how you and Kobe don't work together? How you feeling, Shaq?"
I'm sure. Listen, I'm sure there was some egging, but at the end of the day, you two grown men figure it out.
Yeah, it is. Also, too, I love the advancement in medicine and everything we got going on, but I think this would be a bad idea if Tatum come back this year or
I would absolutely be shocked if Tatum sees the floor in a Boston Celtics jersey this year. I think that's not even in their plans. I think they're taking this as a gap year in the truest sense.
They trying to get Halliburton back, and I'm like, for what? There's no reason.
No, don't. Yeah,
set him out. You gonna risk an injury. But that's all the NBA we got today. We got to go into some NFL. So first up on the list, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles smacked the Raiders, which I'm happy about that. Jalen Hurts had a bounce back game, went 12 for 15, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's about what I expected for Jalen Hurts to do anyway. Throw the ball that many times, not too many.
But they didn't need, if you watch the game, they didn't need him to. I mean, it was very much a
Saquon up the middle.
I mean, it was their defense was incredibly dominant. The defense only gave up 74 yards of total offense to the Raiders.
It was Kenny Pickett two-star, not
right. Yeah, Kenny Pickett. Who the Eagles know because he was there last year. And they did a good job of really, limiting Brock Bowers and limiting Ashton Genty, the only two real
threats
the Raiders have. So they didn't need the offense to go out and put up 500 yards. That wasn't the game yesterday. It was truly, really playing well. But the big thing Jalen Hurts did yesterday that I think they got to get back more into was he used his legs. He had 7 rushes for 39 yards yesterday. And they were running him by design. It wasn't him necessarily taking off, if nothing was available. So I think that's what you saw from the Eagles yesterday. And, and again, it didn't require an explosive offensive game for them to dominate yesterday. Their job was to go out, beat a team they're supposed to beat, and get ready for these last 3 games of the season.
Yeah, I don't want to wait. The East is sweet. He said, "Did you know you could be on WWE?" Who, me or Sean?
Bet. You said bet.
Bet on WWE. How is it scripted? Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah. I didn't know that's scripted. But for me though, Sean, the main point of this one for me, because Jalen Hurts had a bad game against my Chargers, we put BTA to them. Only problem I have with the Jalen Hurts narrative is either you overpraise him and say like he's just this, he's better than every other quarterback in the league. He top 5 this, top 2, not 2. Or you say he completely garbage. And that's the only problem I have. It's never no real genuine, honest conversation. Because when you really look at the Eagles, the problem is not Jalen Hurts. It's not A.J. Brown. It's not Saquon Barkley. It's the offensive coordinator. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. That's generally the problem with that team. The original offensive coordinator they had last season, gone, got a job. Now they put somebody else in play, and he's not doing a good job because he makes the offense too predictable. And Jalen Hurts, you should know what to use. Jalen Hurts not a Patrick Mahomes type of quarterback. He's not. He's not no Phillip Rivers type of quarterback. He's not. Jalen Hurts is his style of quarterback, and he can do the things to get the job done if you use him correctly. And for you to mess up this offense with all the weapons you got, I'm sorry, you don't need to have a job in the NFL. I'm sorry. If you can't make a creative offense with the weapons that you have, I couldn't imagine the offensive coordinator on a team like the Raiders or the Arizona Cardinals or something, where you ain't got as good of a team like that. I couldn't even imagine what our offense would look like if he was the offensive coordinator for the Chargers, where you ain't got no weapon like that. He's just Justin Herbert, and you got to figure things out. That's the problem. But Jalen Hurts gonna get all the flack, and I blame Philly fans because they overhyped him, and I also blame the haters because they dog Jalen Hurts. For me, Sean, he said, "I'm trying to say that the NFL and NBA is also, I mean, allegedly, but we don't know that for sure. Unless you got exact proof, it's hard. It's hard to script the basketball going in the net, bro. Hey, look, you gonna hit this three. We're gonna choreograph a whole 4-quarter game. Now you can say, is it rigged? Possibly, who knows? Allegedly, but until I got proof, I can't say it. We don't know. Next up on the list, Sean, the Chicago Bears put BTA to the Browns, where Shedeur Sanders did not have a good game this game. I definitely want to hear about how you feel about Shedeur. And then Myles Garrett, I'm trying to see how many sacks did he have yesterday exactly.
I think he had 1.5, if I'm not mistaken.
1.5. Yeah, I think 1.5. Yep, 1.5, 1.5. And I believe he's at 22 right now. So he tied the record, right?
I think his 22.5, I think, is the record, but yeah.
Yeah, so I believe he's gonna break it probably his next game. And Sean, looking at this, all right, if I was to tell you Myles Garrett will break the sack record this year, you'd be like, okay. And actually, what would you think the Browns record would be? You would think they'd probably be competing for a playoff spot, right? Maybe. I'm just saying, if you just hear somebody chasing the sack record, because he'd be like, this defense got to be crazy. This shows that football is the ultimate team sport. Because how dominant Myles Garrett is, it don't make no difference. Because if everybody else don't do their job, and now I kind of feel me seeing this with Myles Garrett, I kind of feel what you were saying about Tom Brady, about being like the greatest winner of all time. This is a perfect example because no matter how good Tom Brady was, if the other people didn't do their job, he wasn't going to win. It don't matter how – football is the one sport I say wins shouldn't define if you're the greatest of all time. And this is the perfect example of that, Sean. I literally learned watching this, and I'm like watching it live and seeing it. Like, this dude is a monster, but everybody else around him is garbage. So when you be saying like Deion or Barry Sanders or Peyton, is those really like the best, or Tom Brady not the GOAT, he's just the greatest winner of all time. This is the perfect example of it for me.
Well, I don't want to say everybody around him is garbage. They do have a really good, some guys on defense. Obviously, Denzel Ward, Mason Graham, their rookie they got this year has been really good for them. Yeah. I like their safety Delpit a lot from LSU. They have, and they got one of the best defensive coordinators in Jim Schwartz. So I don't want to say they're trash. Garbage. Obviously, what they are is a team that's really, and I say sort of mismatch. They got a really good defense. They're not really good on the offensive side of the ball. They don't have a lot of talent on that side of the ball, to be frank. So I don't want to say they're trash. I just think they're just a mismatched team. They're really dependent on their defense being really, really good and having some, getting some help from their offense, from Quinshon Judkins and from Njoku and from Harold Fannin and from Jerry Juicy, which is now his name because I would never, ever call him Jerry Judy anymore. He is Jerry Juicy.
Jerry Juicy is what?
Jerry Juicy. You remember Juicy Smollett? Juicy Smollett? Yeah. Jerry Juicy. That's his name. Because the way he drops passes and the one that hit him in the chest yesterday in the end zone.
They got snatched out of his hand.
And to be clear, if y'all don't know, Jalen Johnson is one of the best corners in the league that nobody talks about. He is really, really, really good. Like he's an all-pro level corner. So credit to him for making the play. But I don't think you could give Juicy a better ball than Shedeur gave him there. But obviously the Bears defense yesterday did some things to really, give Shedeur some looks he probably wasn't necessarily ready for.
Shedeur should have cursed out Jerry Juicy since he cursed him out.
Well, and I'll say two things. One, the Bears, and again, this is credit to the Bears and to their defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen. They did some things kind of early in the game, I think, to potentially let Shedeur get a little comfortable. And then they were seeing like he was really locked in on Harold Fannin yesterday. I think Fannin led that team in targets yesterday.
It was obvious who his favorite target was.
Right. The interception that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had, it was something he saw on film, but he also picked up on the tendency for Shedeur to lock in on Fannin. It's a rookie thing, young quarterback thing. It's something he's going to get better about, I believe. So I'm not going to, kill him for that. But it's also just a reminder he is a rookie, and there are some things he still has to continue to grow with. And he's even said as much. Now, how does he take what happened yesterday, process it this week as he prepares for next week's game? That's the key to his continued growth, as a starting quarterback.
NBA said when Shedeur play well, it's look at me, but when he plays bad, it's everybody else's fault. When does that ever be the case with Shedeur? I've been saying you can say fans do that. Shedeur never personally does that. But the only problem that it became a circus with Shedeur is because of what Kevin Stefanski and the Browns organization did. They made it a thing, to be honest with you, but nobody ever points a finger and be like, yeah, look at me. I'm Shedeur Sanders. I play good. I don't think Shedeur personally does that. If anything, out of all the rookies, I would say who's the most media trained ready is Shedeur Sanders. He never gives the wrong answer in the media. He never called out no teammate. He never lets you call out. He never get blindsided with one of those weird questions. He answers everything the right way. So I think if you want to say Shedeur, the fans do that, of course, but fans gonna say what they want to say, because if you that guy, you the people's champ, people gonna move like that for you. But also you gotta acknowledge the fact of what the Browns did. The Browns made this a circus. He said, Shaq, you're not seeing by his YouTube channels, then laugh out loud, but it is fans. I mean, I could probably check it out, the YouTube channel. I check it out. I guess he must be talking about Bucky channel. The Judy is booty is crazy. Sean, see what you started?
Yeah, listen. I mean,
hey, you started, Sean.
Jerry Juicy. That is his name. Steve Smith was right. That is his name, Jerry Juicy.
Oh my days! Oh my God! You see, you started, Sean. Yeah. But shout out Myles Garrett. But I have acknowledged the fact now. Who I would re-say is the NFL GOAT, I wouldn't know. I'm gonna still say Tom Brady for me at the moment, but Myles Garrett situation I have with my eyes where winning does not make you the GOAT, especially for NFL wise. Tip of the bet. Judy can kick rocks now. He got a Cleveland logo on his. So I mean, he's a Browns fan, so he's seen a lot of Jerry Juicy.
Yeah.
Next up on the list, which should have been obvious to everybody, when the quarterback arm was backwards, but the Browns said they are sitting Jayden Daniels for the rest of the season. Commanders. Mm-hmm. Sorry. The Commanders said they're going to sit Jayden Daniels for the rest of the season.
Yes.
No ish, Sherlock Holmes. You should have did it the first time when my quarterback arm was backwards. Y'all wasn't going nowhere. Y'all wasn't in contention. Still not in contention now. And you brought this man back out here to get hurt again. I wonder who the last time they did this, Sean. They had a quarterback, Robert Griffin. He is a former quarterback of the Redskins. I wouldn't necessarily say he's a brother quarterback, but he is a quarterback. But I'm not going to go down that route. But, yeah, they mismanaged him. And he was looking like the 10-man legs out there because they kept forcing them out there. I see the same mismanagement again going on with Jayden Daniels, and I hope they don't do this again. But what was your reaction to hearing that, though?
I mean, again, to your point, what took so long? They have to think about Jayden Daniels' long-term future. They understand this was a team that overachieved last year.
Clearly overachieved.
They got to the NFC Championship game, played 2 great playoff games against Tampa and against Detroit. Obviously, and was able to go on a run, and then got to the NFC Championship game against their division rival, the Eagles, and got smacked. But there was great expectation coming into this season. But right now, it's about making sure you have Jayden Daniels ready to go going into next season, because next season is an important season for Jayden Daniels. Why? Because after next season, they can sign him to a long-term extension. And you're talking probably somewhere in that $65 million a season range. So So I'll just leave it at that. But that said, they have to protect their long term future with Jaden Daniels. When he's healthy and available, we know what kind of quarterback he is. But right now, the main thing is making sure he's getting right, he's getting healthy, but also the infrastructure around him is sound, because there's a good potential. There's potentially a chance that they'll lose their offensive coordinator this year to an open head coaching job, Cliff Kingsbury. So they need to make sure they got the infrastructure right around RG3, top to bottom. And I'm sorry, not RG3, excuse me, Jaden Daniels. I'm sorry, that comment just had me clown joking.
Yes, it definitely, that comment. Hey, T3, hilarious comment, by the way. Hilarious comment, by the way.
And cornball should be spelled with 3 L's because it is RG3.
RG3, you got to put 3.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. But the point is that they want to make sure they're right, going in the next season around Jaden Daniels, top to bottom. And that's really that should be their focus this offseason.
Yellow Bear asked us a question. T3, that's still hilarious, by the way. I'm trying my best not to laugh. But he said, what's the talk about the Browns are tanking? Are they? I mean, yeah, you want to say, no, I don't think they were trying to tank, to be honest. I think they legitimately was losing.
No, I mean, they played the Bears, and the Bears are one of the best teams in the NFL. And they played in Chicago, tough place to win. Especially in December. So, no, I don't think they were tanking. I think they legit were trying to compete. It's just the Bears are a better team.
Yeah. And this comment right here going to lead into our next topic of the day, too. He said the Chiefs missing the playoffs. I didn't see that coming. They don't look the same. And honestly, this is a blessing in disguise for the Chiefs. You know why they don't look the same? They don't got all the talent. When you can't win consistently like that, to keep all that talent or age. I think Travis Kelce he's on the tail end. Let's be honest. Travis Kelce's on the tail end. They don't really got no receivers. Offensive line is shaky. Defense, they done lost everybody on their defense besides Chris Jones. Chris Jones getting old. It's just really Mahomes. Mahomes and Andy Reid only going to get you so far. You need talent. And speaking of that with Mahomes tears his ACL. The Chiefs out for the playoffs. And Patrick Mahomes is getting the second guy to look at his knee. I don't know for what reason. They out the playoffs. This is another situation, too, Sean. What I want to say this. If the Bills don't make it this year, they're never making it. The one person out your way that you can't beat, they're not in your way no more. And the Bills don't even look as good as they usually look. But the Bills don't make it this year, they're never making it. But what's your reaction?
And also remember they lost to Joe not having any fun Burrow as well in the playoffs. It's the Bills. So don't forget that.
It's Bills, yeah. And also, I think if the Ravens don't make it this year, I'm gonna look at the playoff picture. The Ravens, this is the year to make it. If they don't make it this year, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what's your reaction about Mahomes tearing his ACL?
Obviously, it stinks. You don't ever want to see a player go down. We saw 2 of the best players in the NFL yesterday go down with ACL tears. Mm-hmm. Still waiting on the Devontae Adams report. I'm not sure what his situation is, but obviously, when you lose Mahomes. Mahomes has been the deodorant that's covered up the Chiefs' stink for the last couple of years. And the stink has been they don't have a lot of talent around him. And he's been able to, along with Andy Reid, been able to just kind of figure it out. What do we have? Let's figure out how to do it with what we have. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, what happened in the Super Bowl might have been a little bit of a
reality check.
Yeah, we're not as good as we think we are. That reality check you're talking about. They went out, they invested in the offensive line. Josh Simmons, their first round pick, the left tackle, was playing really well. He went out, came back, was playing really well, and now he's out with a wrist injury. And then they lose their backup left tackle. You mentioned Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce has not been the same since he's become Mr. Taylor Swift. Let's be clear. I say it once, I'm saying it again. The moment he went from cheeks to chiclets, it was all downhill.
Cheeks to chiclets is crazy.
Yeah, use your imagination, okay? Cheeks to chiclets, use your imagination. Also, again, Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice, I think his talent, has he emerged as a true number one receiver that, creates great separation? Not necessarily. Xavier Worthy. I like Xavier Worthy. I think Xavier Worthy is explosive, but he's not a guy that necessarily you're saying, we're going to get this guy the ball 12, 13, 14 times a game. So All I'm saying is that they haven't necessarily done a great job of building around, the talent, building great talent around Patrick Mahomes these last couple of years, and ultimately, it's caught up. These other teams have gotten better, gotten more talented, but also just the attrition of the last 10 years of going on these runs that the Chiefs have been on, these deep playoff runs. We know Patrick Mahomes, and when he's been the quarterback, they haven't missed the AFC Championship game
ever.
So that catches up, and I think it's just caught up. Now is a good chance for them to reset and to figure some things out. But also, they're a little bit, and I'm saying this to compare it to more today than yesteryear. They're a little like the Warriors. When they were dominating. But now they have to figure out, okay, where are we right now, and how do we remain competitive in a division and in a league that's just gotten better? And we'll figure out, what to do. Let me comment on T. You do not want John Gruden.
No, you don't. You do not want John Gruden.
He is the biggest snake oil salesman in NFL history. You do not want John Gruden. I promise you. And I can run down some numbers, but you do not want John Gruden.
Somebody the quarterback whisperer. You ain't see the last thing he did when he was in the league. There's a reason why he don't got to stop. And it wasn't because of those emails. Yeah. The emails was the cover why we get him. We got him out here quicker than we needed to. Because trust me, if that didn't happen within 2 years, John Gruden would have been gone.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say really quickly, just to be clear, and I think people got to be careful about this. Anytime a new coach comes in, that new coach is not tied to whoever that quarterback is.
Yep. New GM either.
So new GM, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful about saying, oh, they should go get a new head coach for Shedeur. That new coach may come in and very well say, no, I want to bring in my own person. We see it happen all the time. We just saw it happen this past offseason with Aaron Glenn going to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, he didn't want Aaron Rodgers. They were moving in a different direction. It happens all the time. And that's Aaron Rodgers.
Look at the Bears. They got rid of Justin Fields for Caleb Williams because that's not his guy. So that's why I say y'all asking for a coach who ain't going to want Shedeur. That's it.
Right. So I'm just saying we just got to be mindful of doing that. Like, again, Kevin Stefanski's not a terrible coach. Does he have issues? Every coach does. But he was the one that was there when they made the organizational decision to draft Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. He's the one that has the investment in Shedeur Sanders right now. Someone else coming in may not have that same investment. So let's be careful because, again, what we don't want is to see Shedeur being bounced around, potentially because there's not a coach that says, yes, I believe in that guy. I think he can be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
And then TD3 said, T3 said, Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford had a mini door. If you honestly, and I could be wrong, but tell me if I'm wrong, but I have always noticed every time Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff play, since they were traded for each other, they always go. Because, I think Jared Goff wake up a little bit different playing against the Rams because they traded him. I don't think he had a bad game against the Rams. Even when Detroit was losing, I swear the only game I think he always played good was that against them. He said out of Cleveland would be a godsend. I mean, yeah, free Myles Garrett, but Myles Garrett not going nowhere. He signed that contract. They paid him well. So you're gonna cry them L's down your cheek. It's crazy. Justin Fields was the second pick, been on 3 teams and 3. I think he was 10.
He was like the 11th pick.
Yeah, 11th pick. Yeah, he was like the 11th pick. But the problem is, I'm gonna be real. Sean, no, I am a Chargers fan. I support my hometown team. I stopped supporting the Bears during when they traded Devin Hester, and all they had to do was get a quarterback. And they refused to do that because they wanted to be with Sexy Rex, and he was trash. I said, you know what? I'm not dealing with this team no more. I stopped being a fan. And if Sean to tell y'all if I'm lying, I started back being a fan of the Chicago Bears because they drafted Justin Fields. I never thought in my lifetime I would see them draft a black quarterback. And I said, okay, this team is finally moving in a different direction. They actually want to try to win. And I started back supporting the Bears. So Justin Fields is the reason why I'm back supporting the Bears. But honestly, Justin Fields has not developed nothing different since he's been in the league. He's the same since his rookie season. He still had the same problems. He still can't make the read correctly. After his first option, he can't make it. It's just really just fast. I'm being honest with you, Sean, and I'm being nice about it. I'm a fan of Justin Fields. I wish him well, but I'm being honest. Since his rookie year, if you tell me if I'm wrong, Has he developed anything since the rookie season?
I would say it's been limited.
And that's the problem with Justin Fields. And Justin Fields can be great. He could be great. He said Stefanski can keep the game ball. He gave it away. Oh, yeah, he going to give it away. He said, I'm okay. I'm wrong. I couldn't remember. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. He said Bears should have never benched Cal Orton. Cal Orton should have played. But you can't live off. You can't live crowd with sport milk. Next up, speaking of quarterback back, old man Rivers, Chargers legend. And, Sean, which I believe Phillip Rivers knew he wasn't going to make the Hall of Fame, but everybody asked him, like, Phillip, why would you do this? You messed up your chance to make the Hall of Fame. I'm a big Phillip Rivers fan. I'm a Charger fan. Phillip Rivers probably wasn't going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame. He wasn't. And it's cool. So go ahead. If they call you off the couch, I give you a couple million. He got 11 kids. So everybody asking me why Phillip Rivers coming back for a paycheck. You know why he's coming back. And you never gonna tell a man with an ego that he can't do something.
So the other kind of outlier that people didn't really know, and I think it was George Foster, former offensive lineman, tweeted this, that after you're out of the league for 5 years, you lose your medical benefits. So him coming back actually restarts his medical benefits because Cobra is expensive. So that might have been part of his motivation for coming back.
Factors of that medical. Look, I don't blame him. He got 11 kids
and a grandkid.
And is he the first granddad? You okay?
No, Brett Favre. Brett Favre
was a granddaddy when he was in the league
with the Vikings. Yeah,
that's crazy. Holy, imagine being a granddad. I don't think it's true, but I heard allegedly Ronnie might got this girl pregnant. Allegedly. So
I'm not getting into that.
Yeah, you already know we're gonna get attacked. But next up on the list too. But how would you grade Phillip Rivers' first game back before we go to the next story?
C-. I mean, he looked like Jared Lorenzen. And if you don't remember who Jared Lorenzen is, Google him. But no, he looked like Jared Lorenzen. They didn't ask him to do too much. Yeah. I think he only threw 20 passes. I think he threw for 120 yards, maybe. To be honest with you, I was watching like 4 games at the same time. Obviously, I had that one. He was 18 for 27 for 120 yards. So they didn't ask him to do too much. He only got sacked once. Did have a touchdown pass. Did have an interception. He was okay. But I honestly thought Seattle was going to attack him more. I really thought they were going to come after him, like make him prove he can move. So, but they really, in my opinion, didn't do that. They did enough just to win the game. Maybe they took it easy on him just because it's like, hey, we don't want to hurt this man out here. But, now I want to see, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Colts do have another game left against the Texans in Houston.
Houston need that win.
Yeah, and they play the 49ers this week. So, I think, we'll see if it's all good. Sometimes it's all good just a week ago. But, yeah, they do play the Colts week 18. Texans do. So, let's see what happens.
Divisional game.
Yes. Yeah. And potentially, and the Texans are still, fighting for that in the playoff hunt. So, because I know they got the Raiders this week. And then they got the Chargers next week. So, yeah, we'll see.
Next up. I would say I'm sad to hear this news, but I'm not a Packers fan at all. I actually do not rock with the Packers. The Packers are on my list with the Raiders. But I never want to see nobody hurt. But Michael Parsons is done for the season with a torn ACL. This is the worst time for somebody to get hurt. I think that just ruined up all the Packers' hope this season. But what was your reaction to this? And are the Packers done? I don't think they make the playoffs.
I think the Packers still make the playoffs. They made the playoffs the last 2 years without Michael Parsons. I think they do. They still make the playoffs. Whether or not they make a championship run this season remains to be seen. Now, I will say yesterday's game and the Dallas game exposed the one area where the Packers can be attacked, which is their corners. Without Parsons, I think it's going to be a little easier to attack those corners. unless they adjust some things schematically. But their corners are the Jags. It's just a guy. They don't have a Pat Surtain who made a crazy interception yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a Derek Stingley. They don't have a Christian Gonzalez. A guy like that. They really are just kind of average at corner. So I thought the Broncos did a good job of really attacking that weak spot for the Packers defensively, particularly once Parsons went out. So can they adjust without Parsons? They played without Parsons before because they played without Parsons last year.
Sure.
So let's see if they make the adjustment. But certainly you hate to see him go out. He was having probably the second best defensive pass rushing season after Myles Garrett, obviously. So hate to see it, but Packers, this is the unfortunate part of the game. You got to figure it out. You got to move forward.
Yeah, and then it happened at the worst time of the season when all the games matter right now.
Right.
Well, yeah, I would do an injury bug, but we kind of like the injuries was a part of the story. But anything else that you learned during week 15 that you've seen, or did we kind of break everything down? Something else that you learned?
Well, I mean, obviously, the New England Buffalo game stood out to me yesterday. Obviously, I thought I picked the Patriots to win that game. I thought the Patriots would find a way to win at home. Mm-hmm. They were up 20-1-0. They seemed to be well on their way to winning. Mm-hmm. And then they let that monster, Josh Allen, and that Buffalo offense really, stay in the game. And James Cook, who might be the unsung hero,
yes,
that nobody talks about, definitely stood out to me yesterday. The Baltimore-Cincinnati game stood out. Obviously, definitely wasn't expecting the Bengals to get shut out yesterday.
Got smacked, by the way.
Yeah, they got shut out. No points.
No points.
Zero. So, yeah, zero. And before we, throw dirt on Lamar and the Ravens after, the tough loss against the Steelers,
mm-hmm.
Let's see. Maybe I think that division is going to come down the last week of the season. That stood out to me yesterday as well. Other than that, not too much, really stood out yesterday. Let me say, I'm sorry, really quickly. Cowboys, you are what you are. Let's just own. You are what you are. Let's just own it.
No,
you. Let's just own what you are. The Cowboys offense could average 50 points a game if they played against the Cowboys defense every week.
Nah, I agree with you on that. They let JJ look like a quarterback, and JJ is trash.
Right. Now he's played well the last 2 weeks, and I'm not gonna say he hasn't, but
9. I'm sorry, 9.
No. He's JJ. He is JJ. He is JJ. He is not. You don't get no nickname yet. You earn it.
No, his nickname is Jack. He a Jack too. He's just another guy.
Yeah, earn it. So yeah, but other than that, no.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Now, before we getting close to the time of the game is going to start, the Dolphins versus the Steelers, which you said tonight game does not count for our picks of the week, does it?
It does not.
Okay. Real take or overreaction? Everybody's favorite time of the show. Real take or overreaction, Sean. The NBA got it right with the NBA in-season tournament. Real take or reaction?
Real take.
Okay.
If you watch the games this weekend, it's been an absolute. They've been absolutely exciting. I think they've made some real legitimate interest and given some real legitimate interest in the regular season by repackaging these games. So I think it's absolutely a real take. And, for all the criticism people like to throw Adam Silver and the NBA's way, they got this one right. Now, can they figure it out with All-Star Weekend? That remains to be seen. But in terms of the NBA in-season tournament, this being the third year, they've gotten it right.
I'm going to say I do agree this is a real take. They do got it right. The only problem that I have had with them with the in-season tournament is that y'all didn't make the NBA finals look as good as the in-season tournament course. I still you still supposed to treat the finals like the finals, which they said they're going to put the trophy back on the court now. Because This is the biggest game of the year. And you want the in-season tournament to be just as big. So we get it. Now, my question to you, Sean, before I go to my next point, do you believe people will start treating the in-season tournament cup like how they do the NBA championship at some point, maybe 20 years from now?
Maybe
All
20
the-
years from now. Maybe 20 years from now. I will say one thing though. I got one note for the NBA if you're going to keep the in-season tournament. We know the NBA is probably going to expand here in the next few years. SP.
Yes.
We assume Seattle and Las Vegas are going to get teams. When you do the in-season semifinals and the championship game in Vegas, do it at Raider Stadium so it can have a Final Four feel to it. That would make it a whole different animal. I appreciate that, again, it's at T-Mobile Arena and things like that, but do it at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas where the Raiders play. Because, again, part of the in-season tournament, this is the one time you get that Final Four feel. Like, do it there. If you do that, I think it would take the in-season tournament to another level. So you heard it here first. Anybody else says they put out that idea, they lying. You heard it here first on Real Takes Over Fake Debates. The in-season tournament eventually needs to be at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas where the Raiders play.
Next up, Real Take or Overreaction. Oh yeah, salute to Najee. Real Take Overreaction, Sean. Would you rather have the Spurs trio or OKC trio? The Spurs trio will be Wemby, Castle, Harper, or the Thunder trio of SGA, J-Dub, and Chet.
So the question is Real Take or Overreaction. Which trio would I have, or that I would rather have the Spurs trio over the OKC trio as the Real Take Overreaction? Just want to make sure I clarify.
Would you rather have the Spurs trio or OKC trio?
That's a real take.
Oh, why?
Wemby.
I mean, I can't argue that.
Wemby.
Okay,
Wemby.
But does Wemby outweigh the star power of those three players by himself?
Star power? Are we talking just pure star power? Subjectively, I think he does. But I also think he is the freak of nature. He's the person is like, what's the game plan for him? And that's no slight to SGA. SGA is in the top 2 best players in the NBA right now.
And he's the MVP, my MVP.
And he's the reigning MVP. But if you're just asking me about the trio I'd rather have long term, is Wemby, Castle, and Harper. I just think there's so much more, and I think they're just scratching the surface. That these guys are in year 3, year 2, and want the Slash Brothers. Yeah, you gotta be careful because knives and things like that. But but I get it. Yeah. Yeah, give me Wemby, Castle, and Harper easily as the trio I would want, short and long term.
Yeah. Now I'm my only problem is Wemby's health. So for today, I'm gonna say it's overreaction. I think I would rather have OKC's trio. They have shown they won already. They'll show they consistently be healthy. And the one guy who is not healthy with OKC is Chet because of his size. He's the big guy. He's a unicorn. And he's not the main guy. He's the third best player out of those 3. With Wemby and the Spurs, Wemby's the best guy. He's the freaking nature of the unicorn, but he always hurt. If Wemby hurt, it's ugly. So for today, I'm gonna take the Thunder. Okay, so he said French Vanilla is worse. Wemby and Cornette is crazy. That's a terrible nickname.
Yeah, that is marshmallowy soft.
That is a San Antonio type of nickname. I believe somebody in San Antonio came up with it. I guarantee it was a San Antonio radio station. It was like, yeah, Wemby and Cornette together, French Vanilla. Trash. That's a terrible nickname.
No.
Real take or overreaction. The Packers will not make the conference championship game without Michael Parsons.
I'm going to say overreaction. I still think they can make the conference championship game without Michael Parsons. Again, Jordan Love tends to take his game to another level this time of the season. I think this is the year he's willing to show and prove why he's in that conversation of the better, young quarterbacks in the NFL who's ascending, continuing to ascend. But also, I think defensively, they still have Rashawn Gary. They still have Devontae Wyatt. They still have Kobe Wooden. They still have Lucas Van Ness. They still have Quay Walker. Still have Xavier McKinney. I think they still have a very, very good defense. Yeah. So I'm going to say they make the conference championship game without Michael Parsons. This is an overreaction.
Actually, I disagree with you, Sean. It's a real take because I had to open up my playoff picture. Rams, Bears, Eagles, Seahawks will smack the Packers without Michael Parsons, guaranteed.
I don't know.
You're going to see one of them, and right now, they are the 7th seed. They would have to play the Bears in Chicago.
Right now, they play the
Right
Bears
now.
in Chicago this coming Saturday night, which I think you'll be tuned in, just like I will.
Yes,
but
sir.
But we'll see. Again, defensively, I think the Packers can do some things schematically. You don't replace a Michael Parsons. It's Michael Parsons, right? And at the end of the day, Michael Parsons is Michael Parsons. But I'm saying they were really good defensively before getting Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons took the defense to another level. And again, I'm gonna make the KD comparison. KD to the Warriors. The Warriors were already really good. KD to the Warriors took them to another level. That's what Michael Parsons did for the Packers defensively. But they were a really good defense without him.
Yeah. I think the only thing holding the Packers back is like they're waiting on Jordan Love to arrive. That's it. He's too inconsistent. One day he looked like, oh, this is the guy they told us about. And next day he'd be like, oh, no, he's not that guy. Last one of the day before we get up out of here. Real take or overreaction, Sean. Giannis Antetokounmpo will not be traded this season.
Real take.
Okay.
Real take.
Why you believe so?
I think they are very much trying to figure out how to make it work around Giannis right now. We talked earlier about them wanting to, be buyers. I think they really are trying to figure it out. And I also believe the Milwaukee Bucks, until Giannis goes in and says, get me the freak out of here, no pun intended.
I see what you did there. I caught it.
They're not trying to trade him. They're trying to they are ready to pay him a massive extension this offseason because, again, he can be a free agent in 2027. I think they're ready to extend him, but they're not going to trade him until he comes in and says, get me out of here.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade Giannis. I already told you I don't want Giannis to be traded. I think it's a real take only because I think you are limited to what you can get during the season. I think it's easier to move a player during the offseason. And I think it'd be better for Giannis and his family for him to get traded during the offseason.
Go ahead.
I think because the main team that want him will be like the Knicks. And I think the Knicks should try to go all out this year. If we don't make it this year, then you're going to make that splash for Giannis.
And I think the other piece, too, is if you're a team trading for Giannis, you want some level of guarantee that Giannis is going to sign an extension.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not all that dissimilar to Jimmy Butler last year, although, again, different levels. But Jimmy Butler last year, teams that wanted to trade for Jimmy Butler weren't going to trade from him if he wasn't going to sign an extension. They were going to give up all their assets to get him. Giannis is very similar. If you're a team trading for Giannis and you're going to have to give up significant assets to get him or significant players to get him, you want some assurance that, no, he's going to stay here. He's signed an extension and our window to still compete will be open because he's extending here.
And then from what I'm hearing, only two teams that Giannis really want to go to is the Bulls or the Knicks. And I just feel like he just want to go to a major market. I think the Knicks is one of the main teams because in New York, the Mecca basketball. And he only won't go to Chicago. It's a major market and it's right down the street from Milwaukee. But the Bulls said no, they don't want Giannis, which is stupid to me. But we are the Chicago Bulls. So that's the reason why, Sean, we have not seen the NBA Finals since the dude right here floating in the air behind me. Because we are the Chicago Bulls. But last bit of the show is your other favorite part of the show.
SB and Sean NFL Picks of the Week.
SB and Sean NFL Picks of the Week. How did it go and who went in this week, Sean?
All right. Cleveland at Chicago. We both took the Bears. Bears did win. Baltimore at Cincinnati. We both took the Ravens. Ravens did win. Mm-hmm. Chargers at Kansas City. You, of course, took your Chargers. I took Kansas City. Chargers did win.
BTA. I'm sorry.
Buffalo at New England. You took the Bills. I took the Patriots. Buffalo did win that game. Mm-hmm. Commanders at Giants. We both took the Giants. We'll never take the Giants again. Not doing that anymore. Commanders did win that game. Vegas at Philly. We both took the Eagles. Eagles obviously won that game. Jets at Jacksonville. Jacksonville won that game. Arizona at Houston. We both took the Texans. Texans did win that game. Mm-hmm. Mark my words. Nobody wants to play the Texans in the playoffs. Mark my words.
I agree with you with that. Their defense is ferocious.
Yeah. Green Bay at Denver. We both took the Packers. Denver did win that game.
Mhm.
Detroit at the Rams. I took the Lions. You took the Rams. Rams did win that game.
Mhm.
Carolina at New Orleans. We both took the Panthers. Saints won that game. 2
Yep.
divisional wins in a row.
Shout out to
Yes.
your Saints.
Bested up the NFC South. Tennessee at San Francisco. We both took the Niners. Niners did win that game. Indianapolis at Seattle. We both took the Seahawks. Seahawks won that game late on a field goal. Minnesota at Dallas. We both took Dallas. Minnesota
Never again.
Did win that game.
Never again.
And so tonight's game, Miami at Pittsburgh. You took the Dolphins. I took the Steelers. Tonight's game does not matter. You win the picks of the week this week.
Yes, we back. We back at the house.
I know it's been a long time since you won the picks of the week. So
yeah, no. So I'm happy. I gotta take my victory when I can't get it.
Yeah.
But appreciate you guys watching the game. It's been a cut off now. Make sure you guys get your popcorn ready to go watch some football. Dolphins versus Steelers, and we're gonna see how this goes. It's been SB, Sean Webb. It's been a great episode of Real Takes on Fake Debates. See you guys next time. Peace out.
Real takes over fake debates.